Hey Edson, it's Mayor Zahara here with a COVID-19 update for April the 14th. Hopefully you had a great long weekend enjoying some of the nice weather that we were able to get over the last number of days. Town Council has a very important meeting tonight. It's a committee of the whole meeting where we're going to be discussing our 2020 emergency budget and scenarios on how to help ratepayers during this unprecedented time of COVID-19. We spoke about this before in these videos, and just a reminder, what Council is looking at doing is basically throwing away our old budget, implementing a new emergency budget for the remainder of 2020, which is going to have some pretty significant reductions in levels of service, but it will also translate into a reduction of costs and some savings for our ratepayers, which is what we're most concerned about at this time as people are struggling, unemployment, businesses closed. So we're looking at ways on how we can help individuals and businesses out. One of the things that Council has directed administration a few weeks ago is to look at potential savings. Administration and staff have been working diligently on that, and they have identified approximately $1.8 million of expense that could be removed from the budget this year, our operating budget. But that's going to lead to some pretty significant operating reductions for the remainder of the year. Things such as weeding and mowing and sidewalk maintenance, street sweeping, possible reductions of hours at the landfill, plus a number of measures that are pretty, I think, easy to eliminate from the budget, including things like conferences, promotional spending. Those are pretty easy items to deal with, but the more significant ones are those impacts that we're going to feel out on the street in our community. Things like flower baskets may not be happening this year. So Council is going to have a really in-depth discussion about how far we want the cuts to go, what we think we can live with, what we think we can live without over the next number of months. One thing to note that these reductions, they can't last for a long period of time. We might be able to do it for this year, but eventually we are going to have to get the lines painted on the road, fix those sidewalks, get the grass mowed, that sort of thing. So really what we're talking about here is finding the savings this year and then looking on how we can help the community, not just this year, but in the years to come. So on that note, Council is going to be talking about different scenarios on how we are going to use that savings. Are we going to pass on all the savings this year? Are we going to look at putting some money aside to help in future years? Because we really don't know what the impacts are going to be for the long term. So Council will have some discussion about that. Administration has brought forward 4 different scenarios. One looks at just the short term, which really limits our ability to do anything in the future. So if things even get worse, we're really going to be strapped to do anything because we're not going to have the financial capacity to do so. Or looking at more of a medium or longer term plan where we can pass on those savings over multiple years. So look forward to that discussion. Lots of challenges. We also have some revenue challenges as well. Fine revenue is down. We have some increased expenses in areas such as recycling because markets have not been there, and the recycling center has been running on a bit of a tight budget over the last year or two. We've increased that because of the markets, but now we have to find those funds to pay for that. We have increased the cost to insurance and inflationary costs that we have to deal with as well. So lots of challenges, but you can watch the discussion online tonight at edson.ca. It is going to be live streamed. Of course, many of us will be in council chambers, but rest assured there is distance between all of us. It doesn't necessarily show up on the camera, but of course we're following all the social distancing measures as well as increased hand sanitization and limiting our contact with one another. We'll also have some councillors that are going to be calling in via Zoom. Look forward to that discussion tonight. Really important that we have this discussion and find out ways on how we can help our community during COVID-19. On that note, hope that you watch it online. Our agenda package is also available online where you can see some of the initiatives and some of the ideas on how we can reduce expenses going forward for the remainder of the year as a part of our emergency budget. Edson, take care, be safe, be kind, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.